Welcome to Off the Vine podcast. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Bristowe, and today in the podcast studio, we finally have Nev Schulman. I've been wanting to podcast with this guy since I beat it. No, just kidding. Since I was a competitor with him on Dancing with the Stars. He was the best competitor, one of the best dancers. He recently got in a very scary, terrible bike accident, broke his neck, and under 3 months later, just ran the New York City Marathon, not alone, but guiding a blind man. And it was so great to have him in the studio and hear all about his story. And of course, we talk about his famous show, Catfish. So please enjoy my conversation with Nev Schulman.
He is
You're the one.
beast.
You're the one.
I'm the hero that's just battling the heat in this room in a sweatsuit.
Yeah, just getting ready for a match. Do you have a boxing match?
Yeah, in like 2 hours. I've got a hard out at 2 for that.
You're just trying to drop 2 pounds before.
Yeah. I'm in a sauna after this in this outfit, and I've got to be.
I actually, you know what? I just saw that, and I don't know if anything you see is real or not, but that like people who sauna,
Yeah.
essentially it boils down to the more you sauna, the lower your risk of heart disease.
And dementia, apparently.
So maybe the
This is what I'm
sweatsuit
doing.
in the warm podcast studio is actually a good thing.
I'm just constantly smelly, but
You're just life extending.
I'm extending my life.
The time we spend doing this, you're going to get back.
Yeah, truly, I'm like I'm fighting for dementia on this podcast and good heart rate. No, I have a sauna in my backyard and a cold
really?
plunge, and I'm
Is it
obsessed.
an infrared sauna?
It's an
I
infrared.
want to get one.
I highly recommend it. It honestly has done wonders for like
Your skin looks great.
sauna, sweatsuits, sweating all the
Your
time.
hair looks great.
No, if I took off this beanie, you would not say the
Just
same
looking
thing.
for other things to give you the opportunity to say sauna.
Oh, thank you, sauna. It's
Your
and cold
teeth are
plunge.
whiter.
Sauna,
Your nails look healthy.
sauna.
I love those boots.
Sauna. Do you do saunas and cold plunge like before like you run a marathon, or you don't? You just raw dog it?
Yeah.
You just break your neck and go raw
You know
dog
what?
a marathon?
You know what I'm really into these days?
What?
I have a pair of Therabody compression boots.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in those all the time.
Yeah. For like even if you're just walking.
70% of the time,
You're
they
wearing them
work
all the time.
all the time. If I want to spend 30 minutes comfortably improving my circulation and recovering, or even preparing for, or just chilling
Yeah.
a run, like it's just great. It's so nice. It massages. It's got infrared lights now in them.
What? Oh, is that what I saw in your story where you're wearing those? Like that's what that is? Oh, so you
Compression,
can't walk in
infrared,
them.
vibration. No.
Oh, it's like the boots that you put.
Yeah, you're
okay,
locked
okay,
in.
I got it.
Yeah.
I did that during Dancing with the Stars. Did you do any like craziness for your body during
I
Dancing
must
with
have
the
given
Stars?
you the edge.
It's why I won. You know what it was? Sauna. No, it was I did so much like cryotherapy?
Cold therapy.
Yeah, cold therapy. Like
Where were you doing all this?
there was like a spot that Artem gave me like right by where the CBS lot was.
Oh.
And I would go all the time, and I would just stand in
Insider
the ice
info.
box. Did Jenna not tell you about that?
No.
That's great. Are you watching this season?
I started watching it, and then the last few weeks have been so busy.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance.
I mean, you probably
it's
had
coming down to the end now, right?
I feel like either
Is Jenna still in?
yeah, and she's got Joey
Right,
from
he's
Bachelor.
great.
He's too good.
Well, you should talk.
But he's better than I was. He's like literally he
Yeah,
looks
but
like
you
a
know what I
pro.
like. But you know what I like about him? He's not naturally like
A performer?
rhythmic.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that's
like
true.
he's still kind of awkward and like
That's true.
you know what I mean? Like
We're able
he's
to
a,
see
he's a
his
fast
progression.
learner and he's very like fit and
Yeah,
strong. So
yeah.
like he can do all the stuff.
Yeah.
But like he's not. I don't think he's naturally like a good dancer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I really want to just talk about you
Okay.
because I heard from somebody, because we aren't following each other on social media, which we'll talk about later, that you had gotten in this horrible car accident. Or not car accident, you were on a bike.
Right.
And a car hit you. Tell me.
We'll
You
get
tell
into it.
me.
Well, I know you do like the embarrassing.
Oh, is this
moment
part of
thing.
your confession?
Well, since you brought it up here, I figured this is the time.
Oh my God, then let's do it now.
Do you have a setup for that, or do I just get into it?
Get right into it.
Well, so 3 months ago,
Yes.
I had an accident
Yes.
in which I was on my bicycle and collided with a car and broke my neck.
It's crazy.
The embarrassing thing that I try to sort of avoid, but I'm not hiding,
Yeah.
but definitely like never really know how to bring up because everyone immediately like, oh my God, I can't believe you got hit by that car. Like,
Right.
It's so crazy. And I'm like,
It's your fault.
yeah, it was my fault.
You hit the
I
car.
actually hit the car.
Stop. How?
Well, so this is where it gets complicated, right? So the road I was on does not have a bike lane.
Okay.
And it needs to because it's the only road to get in
Got
and out
it.
of town.
Yeah.
It has a small shoulder, which is not adequate, ends at a certain point. So I was trying to make the best decision that I thought possible under the conditions for everyone's safety
Yeah.
by actually leaving the sort of miniature shoulder and entering into the flow of traffic,
Right.
which I was going about the same speed.
Oh.
So I looked over my left shoulder to merge into there was a space that
Yeah.
I sort of went into. And when I looked back, and I still don't know why, but the cars in front of me had come to a very quick stop.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough time to brake.
Yeah.
And I just rear-ended this truck.
So you went.
I went just head first into the back of a truck.
Oh shit! Going
is-
how fast?
I think like 20 miles an hour.
Yikes.
Yeah. And it's embarrassing because like it, I could have probably avoided that, but
So do people
nevertheless.
know that?
I mean, I haven't. Yes, but
It's not like you
it
go
wasn't
on
a part
podcast
of
to talk
right.
about
It wasn't a part of the story that,
Yeah.
that anyone was interested in. Or
And do you
matters.
remember anything? Did you black out? Like what happened after that?
Well, it's the only time in my life I've ever been
Wow.
unconscious. So I remember the moment before when I
Yeah.
said shit.
Yeah.
Like in my brain, I was like, I knew.
You're like,
no,
this is gonna be bad.
right. And then the next thing I remember was like my shirt was getting cut off, and I'm on a stretcher, and I was like, oh no, like what happened? And then your brain technically usually kind of first assumes like, oh, I'm okay, like I'm fine, like.
Right.
And I kept looking to see, or not looking, but like I couldn't see anything wrong with me, like in terms of bones sticking out or blood anywhere. So I kind of thought, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But my hands really, really hurt, which was weird because I looked at them and they didn't. I could look at them,
Right.
and there was nothing wrong with them. So that's why it took a while to figure out what had happened, and it was the spinal cord.
That's linked to your hand.
Yeah, so because where I broke my
Ah.
my neck was putting pressure on my spinal cord, and those vertebrae tend to like the nerves go down to the arms and hands. So I still have a lot of weird like nerve
Really?
tingling and pain, but it should go away.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'm embarrassed to admit it, but the accident was my fault.
And then what is okay? I don't want to laugh at that because it's
No,
not
I
funny.
know.
But I'm like, you say you're embarrassed. I'm
Well,
like,
because I felt so bad, I'm getting all this sympathy, and yeah, I understand. Like it still sucked that it happened,
oh yeah,
but
you still deserve sympathy.
well, okay, thank
That
you
is a
for that.
horrible, horrible accident. I honestly, a confession of mine on a podcast once was similar yet not so similar to your story because I think I was like 13 years old and I was riding a bike with my girlfriend and I looked behind her and it was one of those times in life where it was funny to me. It was the first time I saw a dirty car that said "wash me" on it, and I was 13. I was like, haha, and so I like pointed it out to my friend and I was like, "Wash me," and she thought I said "watch me," and I went headfirst into that vehicle. And
Oh my
luckily,
God.
I did not break my neck. I got up
Yeah.
and laughed my ass off. But she was like, "Why did you want me to watch you do that?" And so I get your embarrassment
Yeah.
to some level.
The important thing for me was that I was not doing anything dangerous or irresponsible.
Right.
I wasn't speeding. I wasn't like trying to do tricks.
Right.
I was just on my way to pick up my son from summer camp.
Right.
Very normally. It wasn't like I was,
Yeah, you weren't
being
out
dumb.
just being a
Right. I was just trying to
Yeah.
safely navigate a sort of unsafe road.
Right.
And I just somehow,
So you were picking up your son on the bike.
yeah.
Oh, so also a blessing that
Well,
this,
what's amazing? Yeah. Blessing that it happened before I got there.
right. So
Yeah.
now are you terrified to ride a bike again?
I rode my bike here.
You did not.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it's not the bike that's unsafe.
I just get there's so many freak accidents that
No,
happen
but-
out there with
But now I feel like I had my freak accident.
oh, that's true. Can happen
It
twice.
it was
surely.
it was bad, but also in a way incredibly lucky and a blessing.
right. It's
So
like
like
winning the lottery twice. It's
you
not
know,
gonna happen.
right, like for the last I'm 40 now,
Yeah.
but call it 30 years of riding bikes. Like, yeah, I've had a few little accidents here and there, but
Right.
if you average that out,
And you love a bike.
yeah, it's the best way to get around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that, the fact that 3 months ago you broke your neck
I think exactly, right? Because
to
it's the
the
fifth.
day.
Well, tomorrow's technically the fifth, so yeah, 3 months tomorrow.
Holy shit. So not even 3 months and you run a marathon, which we'll get to. But didn't the doctor say like they didn't know if you'd even walk?
Well, when they saw that I had fractured my spine, immediately the assumption was, okay, this is now a much more serious injury. They had to transfer me to a hospital with a specialized ICU for spine trauma.
Yeah.
And coming into the hospital, for those first 4 or 5 hours, every different doctor and nurse is coming in and they're looking at your scans, and I had to get another special imaging thing for my, like, everybody's looking and everyone's just expecting, oh, this guy is going to have some paralysis.
Right.
Like, there's no way he broke those vertebrae, and like there
And
won't.
you're hearing all this like
Well, they keep coming in. I can see them talking and hear like little things, and then they keep coming in, and they keep like testing and like touching
yeah.
all my limbs and
Yeah,
my
I've seen Grey's Anatomy.
and I
Yeah.
keep answering them that I can feel that, and they're all shocked.
Wow.
They're like, "Wait, this is crazy. Like, you feel that? You feel that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I feel it. So there was a little bit of a sense right away that that's great. The fact that he can wiggle his toes
Right.
and move your fingers, and it was really hard to do all that,
Yeah.
but I could do it.
Right.
So I think I knew enough from that I was already far better off than I could have been.
Right.
But how and when I would be fully mobile again, and if this would heal well, or I would need additional surgeries, and then if it would be how long it would take to run again, I didn't know. It all
Yeah.
seemed like a very gray future
Yeah,
of
the
not
unknown.
of just
Yeah.
not knowing.
Yeah. Well, that's so when you're in that state of like, because you're probably on painkillers or you're like
Yeah.
probably not all there, but you're there and you're hearing stuff like, are you in full anxiety mode? Or are you calm? Or what was your mental state during that time?
So yeah, the accident happened Monday afternoon. By Monday night, I was at Stony Brook Hospital in Long Island. And then Tuesday morning at like 6 a.m., they took me in for the surgery. Um, and so yeah, they put you under for that.
Yeah.
I've also never had like, whatever, an A line, which is do you know
Like
what
a
that is?
fracture?
No. An A line
Oh.
is, it's a stent that goes into your artery through your arm up to your heart, basically, so they can like monitor your blood pressure.
Oh,
Because when you
okay.
do surgeries, especially spinal, like they
Yeah, that's
really
no
need to
joke.
make sure they know exactly like where
Yeah.
your heart rate and
Yeah.
blood pressure and all that is.
Right.
So that was wild, and a catheter here, and like it was just, I've never been like hooked up
Yeah.
like that, like
Yeah, that's
full
no
on
joke.
hospital, like
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So that was scary
Yeah.
and intense, and I'm in the brace, and I'm still like dirty, and I had stitches on my lips because I had actually cut my face a little bit. So like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And the first few days, your brain is still trying to sort of figure out, what am I going to do about all those things that I was supposed to be doing right now?
Oh.
Like I'm, I have this event here, and I was supposed
Right.
to, I'm training for a race in 3 weeks, and I was supposed to go on the like your brain is still like trying to figure out if it's possible that maybe some of these you could still
Yeah.
do. Like, I mean, you're still sort of weirdly trying to sort things out.
Right.
And then eventually it became clear to me, like, oh no, none of that's happening.
Right.
Like, let it go.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on
And just focus on, because I had been really excited to start a new business, and I had taken a few steps, right, and I remember saying to my dad, like, I gotta get back to this guy about that. And he's like, Nev.
Yeah. Yeah, take a knee. Take a knee.
You can't do anything else
Yeah.
right now. Like, just
Yeah.
focus on
Oh, yeah, like one
getting
minute at
better.
a time.
I know.
please.
So it took me like a couple weeks to finally,
Wow.
and some good talks from my dad where he was like,
God
Nev,
bless it.
please just, don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Just wait, take your time, all that stuff you can do. So I guess that answers that.
Yeah, yeah. And what was your family like when
Ugh.
they must have been just like their world was probably rocked.
The biggest takeaway for me from having this, accident
Yeah.
and medical, experience was how insanely complicated and difficult it is for your family
Yeah.
when you get sick or have an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the system that this country, for the most part, chooses to use in terms
Right.
of healthcare and emergency services is so complicated and expensive and
Same.
just difficult to navigate. I mean, I couldn't believe between all the different people that were helpful, whether it was making sure I got seen by a certain doctor or released when I was ready to get released, which can sometimes take days, but someone sent an email saying, "Hey, I think he's ready." And then handling the insurance stuff. I mean,
Right.
and if I didn't have an uncle who has a law firm
Right.
and a friend who knows someone at Stony Brook, it's crazy.
Yeah. You're like, how do
And
most
and
people
my
do
wife,
this?
who had to obviously take care of the kids
Right.
and then take care of me and
Right.
figure out finding someone to be at home to help me for that first week. Like, it's so much.
Yeah.
And that's when you really appreciate your family and your friends,
No kidding.
when you can't do anything for yourself
Yeah.
and people are
They
coming
just show
forward
up.
and handling it.
Wow. I mean, I feel like you and your wife are such like ambitious go-getter kind of people. And that just goes to show it doesn't just mean like in a physical way, like emotionally for each other.
Right.
Like of course, that's what you do in marriage. You showed up for each other in like that kind of a hard time. But were your kids so scared?
Not really.
Really?
I
They were
mean,
like, my dad's a hero, actually, so he good.
well, so they first came to visit me at the Southampton hospital,
Yeah.
which is where I first went
Yeah.
when they didn't know what was wrong with me. And I was in mostly good spirits.
Yeah.
Because again, I wasn't in so much pain like from this.
Right.
I just had this weird hand pain. And they came in and I put on a really happy
Yeah.
face and I gave them a thumbs up and they were so curious about all this hospital
Right.
stuff and we're touching everything.
Yeah.
And I just kept saying like, it's okay, I'll be fine. Don't
Yeah.
worry, don't worry.
Yeah.
And so I think because I could talk and because I was smiling and
That's good.
telling them not to worry, they didn't worry too much.
I mean, I did. Seen somebody in a neck brace like that with I was like,
Right.
oh shit. Like that is so
No.
scary. And like the recovery process, I'm so impressed with because how do you get from a broken neck and all surgery to running a marathon less than 3 months later? How did you do that?
You can subscribe to my new Broken Neck to Marathon
Do you have
12-week training program.
I'm like,
No.
sign me up.
So again, it's weird because on one hand, I feel unlucky that it happened because,
Right.
I could have just fallen off my bike and had a scrape.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you're going to break your neck, I got like the best version of it, which is such a weird thing to say.
Sure.
But the fracture was small enough that it didn't require any hardware.
Yeah.
And I was able to wear the brace for 6 weeks, which
Yeah.
was awful, but it allowed the neck to heal. And I remember the doctor saying, after he saw my x-ray, my follow-up x-ray, your neck has healed, so you're okay now. And the first question was, so what can I do? Can
Yeah.
I like get back out and run or
Right.
ride my bike? And he said, whatever you're comfortable doing, your neck is not vulnerable anymore.
Oh, okay.
Now, the bones, the muscles are still a mess.
And so weak.
The range of motion, I was really weak.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of PT and
Yeah.
strength training and mobility stuff that had to happen just to feel reasonably okay to
Yeah.
do daily activities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that the fracture was able to heal quickly and
Well, and your body was probably so like you take care of your body, right? Like you are in good shape. You're so athletic. You've done everything that probably helped your cause.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then tell me about somewhere along the way you decided to not only train for the marathon, but you wanted to guide. I want to say his name right, Francesco.
Francesco, yeah.
But I don't know how to say his last name.
Magisano.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Who is a blind runner.
Right.
How did that opportunity come about?
So last year, before the New York City Marathon, having started but not completed the previous marathon. So in 2022, I was trying to run my my fastest New York City marathon. I trained, and 2 weeks before I got an injury, and I wasn't sure if it
Oh,
was going to
shoot.
affect me or not. It was just in my leg, but I ended up not finishing it.
Oh,
So
shoot.
I
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
so right, it's the only time I've started a marathon and not finished,
Yeah.
and it was a bummer,
Yeah.
but it kind of changed something for me because I thought, you know what, this is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Why am I training so hard to maybe shave a minute or two off my time? Like, for what?
Yeah.
And then in the spring, I thought, okay, if I'm not going to try and run faster, then like, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Why go through the process every year? Like, what's it for? And it occurred to me that, okay, there's got to be something I can do to make it more meaningful. I've done fundraisers, I've done all that, but like,
Yeah.
it just didn't feel personal enough to me.
Yeah.
And I've always seen the Achilles guide runners
Yes.
and athletes every race because they're in all of them, the short, the 5Ks,
Yeah.
10Ks, they're always out there. And I've always just been admired them and
Yeah.
just been so in awe of what they do. And I just thought, oh, I wonder if anyone can do that. And so I just reached out and I said, hey, I have a bib for the marathon, but do you need any more guides?
Yeah.
And Francesco, who happens to be the director of the Manhattan chapter of Achilles,
Okay.
was the last person who had not yet assigned himself a
Wow.
guide. And he said, I could use a guide if you want to do it. So we ran last year together. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. And immediately I knew, oh, this is the only way I'm ever going to run this marathon.
Really? Yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is a million times more meaningful
Yeah.
than anything I'd previously done.
Yeah.
Not to say that
Of course.
it's not meaningful for other people
Of
who
course.
run for themselves. But once you run for someone else,
Well,
it's just a
there's
whole nother
so
thing.
many people out there with stories and why they're running. I was so moved. I watched it was my first New York marathon and I was like in tears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. And what I love about Achilles is that for pretty much for all of the Achilles athletes, getting to the starting line is the journey.
Yeah.
The marathon
yeah.
itself is, yes, it's an accomplishment, but for them, getting to the starting line
Yeah.
is really
Yeah.
the accomplishment.
Well, even like I'm not a runner and I joined a group of people for the shakeout run
Oh yeah,
and I I did my 3 loops and I was
it's
like
the community
yeah,
is
I was like I am
incredible.
hyped. I was like this is so like inspiring.
Oh
People
my
all have a
God,
story. Everyone's running for a reason.
I know.
And then you realize that like energy really does matter when you're going through something hard because I think there's that one place in the run where you're like you don't see many people and it's
Mhm.
like I don't know mile what 8 maybe 10 11 I don't know. We're right before
Later,
you
I
cross the
think.
bridge. I don't know. I don't know. I don't run.
Well, there's a few bridges,
Oh,
but
okay.
yes,
Anyways, and then you come
yeah,
across and all these people and it's like where you're like
yes,
I don't know if I could do this and then people are like you got it, keep going and you're like
totally.
yeah, like
Well, so to answer your question, after we ran New York City Marathon 2023 together, Francesco invited me to run Boston with him
oh,
this
sweet.
year in
Did you do
April, which
that?
we did, which
Yeah.
was amazing.
Cool.
And then he was like, all right, well, I'm running New York City again. I'd love to have you guide me for that. So I'd
Yeah.
already agreed to and signed up to be his guide again.
Yeah.
So I texted him 2 weeks after the accident,
Yeah.
which he had known about.
Yeah.
And I said, look, there's very low likelihood that even if I can run in November, that I'll be able to, that I'll want to, or
Yeah.
that, so don't count on me. Find someone else before it's too late. Cause there's a whole process of, signing up and blah, blah. And I should have known, but he's a guy who went blind in high
Right.
school and is now a triathlete. So like,
Wow.
he's not gonna let me off the hook.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
he was like, "No,
"Sir."
Neve." He's like, "If I could do this,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can do this, and I'm counting on you." And he said, "I don't care if we have to walk it. Like, you're gonna do it."
Oh, really?
So he sort of flipped the Achilles guide,
Yeah.
the whole thing on me, and was like, "No, I'll guide you if I have to. Like,
Bless.
you're gonna do this." And that was when I first thought, okay, maybe I can.
Yeah.
So as soon as the doctor said, "You're okay," I knew I only had like 8 weeks, or not even 6 weeks, to get sort of into shape to run. I had been in shape,
Yeah,
so I
of
lost
course.
some time, but I just, I started training right away.
So how did you start training? Just like walking,
I
or did you?
jogged a mile.
Holy
The
shit!
first run I went on, I sort of like jogged a mile just because I had no idea what was going to
Were you
happen.
still in a neck brace?
No, I'd just taken the brace
Okay,
off.
okay.
And I waited till the next day to see if like, I was going to be super sore or whatever. And I wasn't. So then I did like, I think the next day, 2 miles a little faster. And then I just sort of got a little longer and a little faster until I was back at my normal pace.
I don't know about you, but every time I go grocery shopping, I leave with 3 or more things I didn't need and a receipt that makes me go, wait, what? What is it with grocery stores right now? Especially right now, the holidays coming up. I need all the help I can get to save time and money. Who doesn't love to save money? And that's where Every Plate comes in. Every Plate is hands down one of the most affordable meal kits out there, and they're making holiday prep a breeze with fresh pre-portioned ingredients that actually cost less than your grocery haul. So you'll have more to spend on holiday gifts or whatever you want to spend a little extra something on. Plus, their menu is amazing. Over 25 rotating recipes each week. So they've got everything from 30 minutes or less to family faves and even veggie options. And if you're looking for a cute little holiday magic, they've got you covered with easy sides like apple pie crescent rolls and sweet potato casserole. Or if you're over the heavy holiday food, their holiday detox recipes, lifesaver. So with affordable dinners for just $5.99 per serving plus 50% off your first box, Every Plate helps you save money for a stress-free holiday. Get this amazing deal by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering code VINE599. That's code VINE599 at everyplate.com/podcast. Good taste is easy to spot, but hard to pin down, and you know it when you see it. And let's be honest, there's no greater signifier of taste than the car that you drive. So you want something sophisticated but not stiff, classic yet bold, and that is where Range Rover Evoque comes in. This is not just an SUV, this is a statement. The Evoque brings a new dimension of refinement and luxury with its clean lines and sumptuous materials, and its exterior design, floating roof, continuous waistline, and that three-dimensional grille oozes charisma, and the chiseled taillights, they give it a sense of motion even when it's parked. Inside, an actual sanctuary, the minimalist cabin wraps you in curated elegance. You can choose a modern sleek or something warmer and more inviting, tailored just for you. And the tactile gear shifter, it's the kind of detail that makes every drive feel special. Make your mark with the Range Rover Evoque. Visit LandRoverUSA.com to build and configure yours today.
What was the hardest part of the marathon?
Well, this was a tougher one for me because I wasn't necessarily, my, the 3 months leading up to this
Right.
marathon were not ideal training.
Of course.
And of course, funny enough, Francesco was in really good shape. So he was going much faster than he'd previously in the 2 we'd run before.
Yeah.
So I had sort of assumed that, our time would similarly kind of,
Right.
our pace would slow and we'd just kind of jog
Yeah.
the second half. But he
kept going.
he held his pace, and actually
Wow.
we ran like a negative split. So the second half of the marathon was faster than the first half,
Oh, really?
which is really pretty unusual
Yeah.
for most people.
I don't know it. That sounds unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, right. But we'd gone out really conservatively
Yeah.
and held a really good pace. And then he was feeling good and was like, all right, let's pick it up.
Yeah.
And so for me, not having trained very much or as much as I should have, I started to feel like, oh man, this is hard. Like I'm not comfortable going faster, but
Right.
I didn't have a choice.
Did
know
you
what I mean?
feel you couldn't tell him? You're like,
I did say,
Oh.
I did at one point. I was like, look, just so you know, like I'm
struggling.
hurting.
Yeah.
Mile like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
I told him, we might need to slow down.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But he was like, you got this. And then the crowds get bigger because that is sort of around where some of the crowds are
Okay.
smaller, right? And the crowds came and some adrenaline kicked in.
Yeah.
And once you sort of know you're within a few, like, oh, it's only like 5 more miles. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And so we pushed through and we ended up running by 25 minutes faster than he had previously in April.
25 minutes?
Yeah. It was
That's
a lot.
huge.
It was a huge difference. Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy because I just am learning about like marathon running, and just being there at the marathon, I was like, it's emotional. Like, even just seeing strangers cross the finish line, I get choked up. Or like there's one guy who did not have legs or arms and was on a
I
skateboard
saw that guy.
hauling. And I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit. Like
Yeah.
it's everything is just so inspirational. What do you get emotional at all marathons? Or was this one particular for you? Or were you just like, rock on?
I think for me the most impactful moments are actually before the race.
Mhm.
Since I started running with Achilles, because all of the athletes with disabilities meet and are sort of held in the same little area, and you get to talk to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will come up to me, especially now after my accident, because they've heard of it. And
Right.
so many of them have had spine injuries.
Wow.
Right. So there's like a whole new connection now that I have
Yeah.
with them. And that's where I get to really feel the sort of emotions
Yeah.
of everybody, and
Yeah.
and also the excitement and the energy and the sense of accomplishment and anticipation and all that.
Yeah. It's
Once the run starts, you're really just like,
you're in the zone.
well, especially when you're guiding, because you have to be so focused.
Well, also, people can probably just look up your name and start rooting for you, follow you. Like, do you have a lot of people that are fans of you who put in your bib number or your name and start cheering for you?
Yeah, I do.
That's cool.
Technically, though, it's a weird thing, and maybe we can change it. But as a guide runner, you're not officially.
Oh, because I looked for you.
You couldn't find
I
me.
could not find
I
you.
know.
Oh.
You have to put in his bib number because he's
Oh.
the runner and we're just his guides.
Got it.
Now, I don't care that I don't officially get a time for the New York
Sure.
City Marathon because I've done that again.
Yeah.
But it's kind of messed up.
Well, because people want to cheer for you.
Well, A, because then
And your
people
family.
can't really track you easily.
Yeah.
But also, like, there are a lot of people who have guided their spouses or
Yeah.
loved ones, and they've done the work. They've
Yeah,
crossed the finish
yeah.
line too. Like, they deserve to be recognized. And in some ways, it's harder because you've
Great.
trained for the marathon and you're guiding
Yeah.
or pushing, or it's like. So I think there's a conversation that
We
needs to be had
wanna
about like
change
all the
that.
sort of unseen heroes of marathons
Yeah.
and races around the world who aren't even technically getting credit for it.
Wow. Yeah, I'll tell you, I never in my life, you would have asked me 2 days ago, would you ever run a marathon? I'd be like, no, I can do berries and I suck at that. Like, but now after being a part of the marathon, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I'll start training right now.
Yeah, you don't have to train for a marathon yet. You could start smaller.
Oh,
I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's too crazy." But
that's
like,
true.
just run a 5K.
Start with a 5K.
Yeah, and then
That's
what
true.
what no one knows until you do it is how fun it is to be a part of a huge group of people running with fans and like water
Yes.
stations and all the little free giveaways. Like, it's really fun. It's competitive sports for adults who are not competitive.
Do
You know what I mean? Like,
do you
it's
know what my
great.
problem is? I forget the name of it. I have a severe phobia of throwing up. And I'm like, what if I threw up
Mm.
during the marathon? Like that to me is crippling.
But here's the question: when you do throw up,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming you have,
Sure.
does something terrible happen? Do you have like
I don't know if it's like trauma. I had hepatitis B when I was little,
okay?
and the amount this is sick, but like the amount that I was throwing up and
For,
like
for how
in the
long?
hospital like weeks.
Uh,
And I like couldn't gain a pound. I was so weak. I was like it was awful, and I
yeah.
think it's just trauma from throwing up. And I'll fight it so bad. Like I would rather feel nauseous for 3 days straight than throw up once
God.
and feel better. I just like can't.
Really? Oh, I love throwing up when I'm drunk.
No, I won't do it.
Because you're so drunk and you're like, I just need to throw up.
And then you
I
feel
don't
better.
get drunk that often,
Yeah, but when you do.
but when I have been,
Yes. See, I'm a drinker, and I have never in my life thrown up from drinking.
you make your own wine.
Yeah, I do. And I will drink it until I probably should throw up, but I refuse. I won't throw up. I'd rather go to bed with the spins. But I just I loved watching you turn this like, awful thing that happened to you into an inspiring story. And I didn't realize that you'd ran with that guy a couple times. So you guys have probably such a cool
Yeah,
relationship
it's
too
fun. It's fun.
to do that. What a comeback,
But
Glad you're here.
now what?
Yeah.
Where do I
Well,
go from here? It's like I did the
maybe
thing.
you just chill out for a minute. Maybe take a nap.
Now I'm actually focused on my wife.
Okay.
So after I broke my neck,
Yeah.
6 weeks later, I was like dying to get back out and run.
Yeah.
And I remember I went on my first little jog, and my wife, who is way faster than me,
Yeah.
did track in high school,
Yeah.
was legitimately fast, ran all through college, like into her 20s,
Oh, wow.
got injured right before we met, hurt her knee on a run.
Oh, no.
Didn't have health insurance, didn't do anything about it, just sort of thought it would get better.
Oh, no.
And it didn't. And then we met, I got into running,
Yeah.
and I became like the runner of the family.
Yeah.
And she's been so annoyed because she's like, no,
Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
the
"That's
runner.
my thing."
So then I break my neck, I get back out to running, and she's like, all right, if you can break your neck and get back to running, like, I'm going to get back to running too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, parallel, that I was recovering and kind of getting back into shape for this marathon, she started running, and she's now already up to like a half marathon.
Wow.
She's incredible. And next month, we're actually going to Egypt to run a half marathon together.
How cool is that?
So now I'm like running for her. Like yeah.
Aw. Oh, that's a fun turnaround. I love that. And how's her knee doing?
And what I'm going to try and do is convince her to run the London Marathon with me in April.
That's what I
That'll
wanna
be her
do.
first marathon.
I love London so much.
So sign up.
Is it a hard one?
I've heard for the most part everything's easier than New York.
Oh, is
And
New
that-
York why?
New York's, I think it's just the
Nashville seems
elevations.
to me would be hard because it's so hilly.
Well, I'm talking majors.
Oh, majors. Okay, so there's like Berlin,
Chicago,
London, New York,
London,
and Boston.
Boston, and now wait, did we get 6? Wait, New York, London, Chicago,
Berlin.
Berlin. There's one other, and then now they just added Sydney.
Oh, they did.
like
Oh, that'd
yesterday.
be cool.
Yeah,
Yesterday.
yeah, literally yesterday
shit.
they like officially announced that it's now a major too.
Oh, that's cool. Wow. Is
Oh,
running
Paris, Paris is one, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wait, is running? Did it really start being a thing with COVID, or what? Like, is running just like a?
I think it really hit its stride
Yeah.
during COVID.
That was good.
Thanks.
I feel like a lot of people have taken up running. Have you always been like a determined go-getter? Kind of do everything you do, you go hard.
Not necessarily. If I find something that I love,
Yeah.
that I'm good at,
Yeah.
I do it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do that, I think, for most people.
Yeah.
And because of my, ADHD brain, like if I'm not, good at something right away, and I don't love it,
Yeah.
I lose interest.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I wanted to pick up a guitar and just like shred, like be like so good at
Yeah.
it. And I thought I could because music was like my grandpa was a musician, my dad picked up a guitar, and I was like, I'm gonna be able to do it. And I just can't. And I'm like, I bought a guitar, I did lessons,
dance.
and then I was like, eh.
Dance?
Well, dance, I wasn't very good at when I started because I was insecure. I thought if I went full out that I was looking stupid. And I remember my mom was my like ballet teacher at one point, and she was like, you look more silly, like try not to. Like I was trying to be
Oh,
cool.
do less.
Yeah. And then when I was like 13,
Was your mom a dance teacher?
yeah, she was a professional ballerina. You forgot that in the
All
video.
those
what we
private
did.
lessons that you had growing up?
Hey, you
I was
took
born
it
in
college.
point shoes. I did not take dance. Please.
Okay, well, what was your dance background
Okay, we're not
before
gonna
going
get
on
to
dancing
this.
with the
No, I had a lot of dance performance experience. So it's
You were good. You
Thank
were
you,
really
thank you,
good.
thank you.
And we all know this. I truly thought you were going to win. I was prepared mentally for you to win.
I did. I have to reveal something. You won, and I don't know if anyone's gonna be mad at me for saying this,
What?
but after the producers, well, they sent. Can I show you what they sent me?
Please.
They knew that, it hadn't been really very fair, so they sent me a mirror ball because they knew I should have won.
No! You picked that up at the Dollar Tree on the way here. That's
Because everyone comes up to me and they're always like, "You should have won."
I bet. Okay, but for real, the amount of people that even said it to me
Oh no.
that you should have won.
No, stop. No, you were incredible.
So were you.
Yeah, we
So
were great.
you.
It should have been a tie.
You know what? I would have taken a tie because I in my brain, I remember sitting there and I was trying to convince my brain that I was hearing her say Kaitlyn, but I kept hearing Nev, and I'm like, he's gonna win.
Yeah.
But I thought you were gonna pull out like a score sheet and they're like, actually, it's like one of those moments where they say the wrong name and you actually did win. That's incredible though. You should put like a whole plaque on the bottom and like
just make my own. Well, I was gonna bring my like Moon Man popcorn because I do have an MTV
now
Movie
that's
and TV
cool.
award. Yeah. I was gonna be just like put it down for the whole thing, but it's really heavy, and I
Is
was like,
it?
I don't want to.
Well, just so you know, the Mirror Ball trophy is not made well. your MTV moon, that's cool. Well,
No, Mirror Ball's cool.
Well, the Mirror Ball
They're
is the
both
coolest thing ever.
cool.
But
Well, we have wins. We're winners.
yeah, I truly like Catfish is one of the longest running like shows that does so well. Is it like where's Catfish at right now?
Catfish is we're in the process of getting started with hopefully will be the next cycle. So
God, how many seasons have you guys done?
you know, I should do the math. I know that we've made just about 300 episodes, and it usually airs in chunks of like 10 or 12. So if you do that math, it's like 28 or 26 seasons.
Yeah.
But they don't call each one of those a season. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But we've been on the air for 12 years.
That's crazy because you guys just kind of started with like, what was it? You and was it your brother?
Well, the show was always me and Max.
Yeah.
And he was the first 6 years, and then we had some guests while we found Cammie.
Yeah.
And Cammie was on it for 4 years, and now she just left, and we're probably going to start looking for a new co-host now.
Okay.
I'll trade you a spot for the Mirror Ball.
Okay, you can have my Mirror Ball if I can co-host with you.
No, I need you to,
Catfish.
but you need to officially concede.
What do you mean?
You need to publicly concede the win.
Oh.
You have to say.
Oof. I was about to agree to that, and then I was like, ooh.
We all know finding the perfect gift is tough. You want something thoughtful, something they'd love, maybe they wouldn't buy for themselves. So this holiday season, I've got the answer. Nutrafol. Trust me, your friends and family will be thanking you later. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement trusted by over 1 million people. With just 3 to 6 months of use, you'll see thicker, stronger hair with less shedding. And it's not one size fits all either. Nutrafol has tailored formulas for different stages in life. So it could be postpartum or menopause, and even for plant-based diets. And since I started taking Nutrafol, it was 3 years ago. I haven't stopped since. I've noticed definitely less shedding, way more confidence. And if I'm being honest, that's it. That was pitchy, dog. That's a gift that keeps on giving. Whether you're gifting yourself or a loved one, give the gift of great hair growth this holiday season. Right now, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off any order. Enjoy free shipping when you subscribe. Go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code VINEGIFT. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code VINEGIFT. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code VINEGIFT. Do you know what I love most about gift giving is finding that perfect little luxury someone wouldn't splurge on for themselves. And this holiday season, my go-to is Quince. It's like giving your loved ones a little VIP pass to everyday luxury without the VIP price tag. Quince offers stunning high-quality pieces at prices that are 50 to 80% lower than similar brands. So think Italian leather handbags, 14-karat gold jewelry, European linen sheet sets that make perfect year-round gifts. Their products are beautifully made and seriously affordable. I recently got their Italian leather stretch sock booty. It's one of my favorite shoes I own right now. It's crafted from luxe Italian leather with cushioned insoles. They're unbelievably comfy for all day wear. I wore them to the airport, on a flight, to the airport, to the hotel, all day. You can dress them up with a midi dress or go casual with wide leg denim. They just elevate any outfit just effortlessly. I could not recommend enough. Plus, Quince is definitely on the nice list. They only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, so you're giving luxury that feels good inside and out. So why not gift luxury this holiday season without the luxury price tag? Head to quince.com/vine for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/vine. Quince.com/vine.
Is it old news that do you just unfollow people like?
Okay, so let's get into that quickly.
Okay, yeah.
So at some point, I don't even know now, maybe it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I was getting kind of grossed out by social media,
Yeah.
and I was just over the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was spending too much time looking at people's lives that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Right. So I just unfollowed everyone.
Oh, like a clean sweep.
Which, by the way, is really time consuming because there's
Yeah,
no way
it
to do
is.
it
It
fast. You
is.
have to just go each
They
person.
changed that, by the way.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they just did an update. You can like
Oh, you
click,
can like
you can
mass
like
edit.
click all at once and
Oh,
delete.
select
Yeah.
all. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I unfollowed everyone.
Yeah.
And then I just had my wife.
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought that was cool and that would
That
just
is
help me
cute.
keep me, from scrolling
Yeah.
mindlessly. Or the stories were really what was killing me. I was like,
Yeah.
why am I looking at these stories and making myself jealous?
Yes, we all do it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then after like a month or two, I did start to miss a few people.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me, because I want to stay connected and I do want to know what my friends are doing or if they're in town. You know,
Right.
and then I've slowly built back
up.
up.
Yeah.
But I forget that I'm not following people until something comes up.
This happens to me all the time. If I unfollow someone, it is like, what is that? The like something rule. It's I will see them. Like I will see them.
I know.
It'll be
Oh,
someone
yeah,
I
like
haven't
Murphy's
seen in
Law, kinda.
6
Right, and
years.
like, oh, you know,
And I'll unfollow and then they're like standing beside me at an airport and I'm like, what? Like I'm
right.
gonna
And
do
they
that to
know,
somebody I
and
want to see.
you can't really like pretend.
And I mean, maybe they don't even notice or care, but like some people have that thing where it like shows you when people unfollow you. That would hurt my feelings.
Does
so much.
it mean you're not friends anymore if someone unfollows you?
No, it just means you weren't ever great friends to begin with.
Right.
Or something bad happened.
But it's a pretty clear way of saying like not interested.
Yeah. Which
Right?
it's hard to not take it personally.
Right.
But it's also not that personal.
Well, that's why my wife Laura's always like, just mute them.
Yeah, I'm more of an unfollow kind of guy.
I love unfollowing.
Me too. It's like a little pettiness in me. Like it feels
Totally.
good. Yeah.
Just passive
Yeah.
aggressive.
But that's me. I talk about this with my therapist all the time. Like my favorite way of like showing feelings is passive aggressiveness.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it gets
I
the point
also
across.
like watching the stories of people I've unfollowed. Just
Oh,
so they know I
wow.
saw it.
Oh, you do see. I wouldn't want people to see
No,
that I saw it.
I don't know. It doesn't happen. There aren't that many people, but
Oh.
like once in a while, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that person's up to, and I'll go and I'll be like, oh, I forgot I unfollowed them, and then I'll say, well, I still want to look at their story and see.
That's so. Why
just-
did you unfollow? What was your co-host, Cammie,
Yeah,
during that sweep?
yeah, everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because some people were asking, they're like, ask why he
Oh
unfollowed.
yeah, no.
Okay.
That was all part of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you just like, I am sure people pitch this to you all the time. In fact, I think I've pitched it to you, but like a catfish show for trolls where it's like, because there's some terrible people out there.
We did it.
did?
We did Catfish Trolls. We made 3 episodes.
But what happened? People didn't want to sign the waivers.
No, I don't think that was the problem. I think it wasn't me. I wasn't hosting. Which was
Oh,
maybe part of the problem.
that's part of the problem right there.
MTV got Charlemagne and someone else. It was a while ago. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it lost momentum and then they just,
I want to do it so bad.
I think you could probably look up those episodes. They're pretty funny.
I would like that is my dream is to meet like there's a few
track
very
down trolls,
specific
yeah.
ones where I'm like, I mean, they hate me and I would be so freaked out if it was somebody I knew or somebody that like,
Ooh.
I think that's possible.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of that.
Like an ex's mom or something, like just trolling
Wow.
or whoever, I don't know. But that's crazy. So when you do these catfish episodes and these people look like, I mean, fools, but they still have to sign
Who, the catfish or the
catfish.
hopefuls? Yeah, okay, the catfish. Yeah.
They have to sign a waiver
Yeah.
to show their face on TV.
They
So
do.
what do they want? Do they want a little claim to fame or are they not afraid? Or are they like, do they get paid?
Well, they get paid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's not,
Got it.
life-changing money,
Yeah.
but it's meaningful. And for some of these people,
Yeah.
if they don't have a job or if they have bills or expenses that they need help with, like it's enough to help.
Yeah.
I think the success of the show and the fact that we'd be able to continue doing this and people keep coming on, despite the fact that you could argue it make, they look less than ideal.
Right.
Is because we try and I think succeed in treating them fairly
Yeah.
and humanely
Yeah. That's fair.
and not judging them and giving them a chance to actually tell their story, be seen, be heard, express themselves. And sadly, so many people never have anyone care about them enough to even ask them how they're
Aw.
feeling. No, I mean, it's true. Like
Yeah.
people,
going
if
through
you'd be amazed what people will tell you if you
Just ask.
just ask and
Yeah.
are prepared to listen
Yeah.
and not have an agenda or
Do you hear any like stories after where you like finish filming and that person's actually like went and got help and they're like thriving now?
well, yeah, we've had people who've come on the show that whose lives have definitely turned
Yeah.
around. Mostly though, I do hear because sometimes we'll film, I'll really like someone or I'll, have had a nice experience.
Yeah.
And then a producer will, after everything is done, say like, "Oh God, that person was such a pain in the butt.
Oh, really?
They were so rude." I'm like, "Wow, like it's amazing how people can trick you."
Yeah, yeah.
And these are
Yeah, oh
people that
gosh, yeah.
that are good at that. So
I mean,
yeah,
that's what they do.
right.
They're tricksters. Okay, last thing before I let you go is a lot of people wrote in wanting to know relationship advice
Oh,
for if you're going through a hard time, how do you get through it?
I'm not. So my wife and I are different in many ways.
Yeah.
She's great at taking on issues sort of as they come, communicating
Yeah.
how she's feeling in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not great at that,
Yeah.
but I am really good at listening and processing, taking my time,
Right.
and then responding.
Yeah.
I don't have the kind of brain power and intellect that she does to interpret and come
Yeah.
up with things on the spot. I need time to like process.
Yeah.
So both of those things are very helpful.
Yeah.
I'm definitely working on saying things more as being more
Instead of burying it.
communicative,
Yeah.
right, and just open about things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess relationship advice. Man,
Well, because I feel like a lot of people like at home,
going through a hard time.
like what relationship doesn't, what relationship doesn't? But for the ones that are right now, like it's so hard because it's so easy to be like, we should just go our separate ways. That's probably what's best for both of us. How do you stay strong to make it through to come out the other side, see light at the end of the tunnel?
Okay, well, barring any kind of physical or emotional abuse,
Yeah.
which
Of course.
you should never put up
Ever.
with.
Yeah.
Do you feel an a love the love that I feel for Laura is such a strong force,
Yeah.
unlike anything else I've ever felt, that I know I want to be with her.
Yeah.
If I didn't feel that,
Right.
I would make different decisions.
Yeah, that's fair. I think people always deep down know,
I think right. I think the biggest mistake people make is trying to stay in a relationship even if they don't think that's really what they want anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid of what
The world is
the
gonna
world is
think,
going to
and
well
friends and
or
family.
what the alternative is, which is being single
Right.
and going on shitty dates
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
being lonely and unhappy and
Yeah.
like don't stay in a relationship if it doesn't feel like you should just because you don't want to break up or be
Yeah.
single. And then, again, life and relationships can be very long.
Yeah.
And just know, okay, this is going to be a shitty week or month
Yeah.
or even year.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think this person is still incredible? Do I still love them? And if so, be patient. There's definitely a lot of things I've learned about like if you're having an argument, things not to say, like you always,
Yeah.
or like I never, like
Yeah.
just you learn all these little tools, all these little things to avoid.
Yeah.
How
Do you
to
believe in therapy?
I don't think believe is the right word. I think therapy is great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I just never know how to ask.
It's not it's not a religion.
Yeah.
It's not
My
some it's
religion.
not well, right, but it's not some I don't think that there's
Like you
a
believe in it.
a
It's actually
question of
helpful.
whether
Yeah.
it's real or not.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's
Yeah.
the real, it's a science. It's proven.
It's changed my
It's
life.
fact.
So
Yeah.
yeah. The proof is.
But I
in
do
the
think
pudding.
finding the right therapist
Yeah.
is important
Ooh,
because
that is very
I
important.
had a therapist that I liked,
Yeah.
but every time I tried to talk to Laura about the things I talked about with him, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe that isn't the right therapist
Right.
for me.
Yeah. I think people want to give up too if they don't find the right therapist
Right,
right
right.
away, but there is always somebody out there for you. I just recently found a new one that I'm like, wow, where have you been all my life? All right. So I'm so excited to announce that I am the new host of Catfish with Nev. And
And you've conceded your win.
we'll talk about that on another podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I've been wanting to podcast with you for a long time. I'm glad we made it work.
Can I get you to commit on the record to running a marathon in 2025.
Oh shit. 2025?
Yeah. Next year. You got plenty of time. Could be London.
Why do I want to say yes?
Say yes. Say
Okay,
yes.
yes.
Wow. All right. 2025.
I'm Kaitlyn Bristowe. I'll see you next Tuesday.